ones. We're going to be talking about The Sims 2. It has been almost 12 years since the final pack for that game was released. And I've been recently playing The Sims 2. I managed to get it running by some miracle on my laptop that you can see in the background. And that was a mission and a half. I will go into that at some point in this video in a voiceover. But for now, I want to talk about my experience with The Sims 2, 12 years later, playing it again. A lot of people hold a lot of good feelings and nostalgia for this game. I'm one of them. I made a video probably about a year ago now talking about why The Sims 2 is probably the best Sims game, period. And now that I have played the game again recently, well, I still stand by a lot of the things that I said in that video because it is a really good game. There is a lot of things that tend to go kind of unappreciated with later editions of The Sims compared to gameplay mechanics of, The Sims 2. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Now, one of the first things that I really appreciate about The Sims 2 is how lively the game is compared to The Sims 3, The Sims 4. It is the best of the Sims games when it comes to this department. All of your Sims interact with each other with so much character and liveliness. A lot of people complain that The Sims 4 lacks personality in comparison to The Sims 2, and that is true to an extent. Like I said, the interactions that you have with other Sims in the game are a lot more livelier. You don't even need to really touch your keypad or mouse once you load into a household to see everyone getting up to shenanigans, especially with the pre-made families that are in the game. For example, Pleasance, you can load into that particular household, and then the two twins, Angela and Lilith, are just slapping the crap out of each other. And you don't even need to touch anything to make that happen. Then there's also the golf household, if you load into that, and try to get good old Cassandra's wedding with Don Lothario going. If you don't, develop your relationship enough with him prior, give him enough friendly interactions or anything like that before you try to tie a knot, he'll just leave you. And then she is just a husk of a woman, laying down on the ground, crying, and then the social bunny appears. And when the social bunny turns up, you know you've been an oopsie. And just little things like that, having the social bunny, Mrs. Crumplebottom wandering around, slapping people with her purse. All of these things make The Sims 2 very lively, and I appreciate that. I've been playing in between different households with my own households that I've made and the pre-made ones, and I found myself sticking to a couple of the pre-made Sims. For example, I am actually, the last time I played the game, I was playing as Kaylin Langrak, who was the maid of the Pleasant family, who was having an affair with the twins' father. And she's flown the coop. She is now living in Pleasant View. Man, there's so many towns in The Sims at this point. I'm getting them all jumbled in my head. Because you got fucking Sunset Valley, Pleasant View, and then Willow Creek, and they're all kind of the same, but different in some ways, and they all mishmash together in my head. It's a mess. It's a giant mess. And she has a cat called Princess, a big fluffy rag doll, and she is working as a teacher and trying to find love. She's realized Daniel isn't good. I mean, at first she was into it, but then, shit happened. She got beaten up by Mary Sue. And at that point she's like, okay, I gotta go my own way. Now, the game actually runs pretty smoothly on my laptop, which I wasn't expecting, and it was hard to get it running at first. I had to go through a lot of hurdles to get it just right, and I think I actually managed to do it. Now, I thought it would be really hard to get my hands on The Sims 2, but it's actually super easy. You could almost say barely an inconvenience. But I got it going, and I had to go into the actual code of the game and just add a couple of zeros, remove a couple of zeros, change a few numbers to get it working how I wanted to, and I'll explain what I did in the voiceover. Getting The Sims 2 to run wasn't exactly an easy task. There are ways to download it online, and I did so using one of the, more unsavory options, because that was all I had at the time.
But it works just like any other Sims game. You run it through the installation process, but once you're done with that, it gets a little bit trickier. You have to go into Windows C, then Program Files 86, and the one that I had installed, it comes under Mr. DJ. So I click that and it takes me to the Sims 2 Ultimate Collection. You go to the most recent expansion pack, which was mentioned in Garden Stuff. You go to CS Data, go to Res, then you go to Configuration, and then Graphic Rules. It's basically where I spend the most of my time changing up how to get my game going. Now what I have to do, and if you want to run this yourself, what you probably have to do to get this going, is you have to right click, copy the graphic rules file, paste it to your desktop, and then open it on your desktop. Then you just rename that one copy, because you're going to forget which one's which with the two similar titles. And then you see all of this jargon. I'm not going to go through every single thing on this because it's literally, look how much shit there is. But the main things that I had trouble with were the shadows. The default setting with the shadows that your game will try to defaultly set you to does cause like some glitches. For example, some things will load without a texture, and then the game itself just looks a little blah, if you get what I mean. Just something just doesn't look too right. Like a 6-year-old played with the saturation tool just a little bit too much. So this is how you fix that. These are what I had my shadow settings to, so it worked for me. So you're probably going to want to just switcheroo yours up to make it look like mine. Really all it is just changing something from false to true or vice versa, and that's how I got my stuff to work. I also have these settings right here. I can't remember if I edited these or not, but just in case that you need to, these are the settings that I have for my game. So if you want to edit them to look like mine, go ahead. I would recommend doing so, just so you have covered all your bases, basically. Now in terms of how to fix your resolution, I actually found this guide to be really helpful. It's how I did a lot of what I had to do to get this game running. So I will link it in the description below. But if you are stuck on the 800 to 600 resolution, this, gives you a how-to on how to fix that. One of the things I'll tell you to do is to open Graphic Rules SGR, which is the file that I showed earlier. Now this is what it looks like originally, and you're going to want to change your settings to this. So it'll actually let you, fiddle with things more in the game. But in some cases it will lock some certain options out for you, but that is fine. This article also gives you a little how-to on, what to find exactly what you're looking for to fix this. And this is what you'll want to fix up. As you can see, screen resolutions for all of these, it says 800 to 600 and so on and so forth. What you're gonna wanna do, once you've made these changes, you save, exit the file. Keep in mind, don't do it in the base file. Use that copied one to your desktop and then drag over the copy file. Once again, make sure that you're moving the copy in. So you're gonna wanna basically do it like this. So for example, I'll change mine to looking like that. Move it on in. You're going to have to provide administrative permission to move the folder. I'm going to cancel in this case since I've already done it, but you'll want to go continue. So once it's added, you'll have one saying copy, one saying, Graphic Rules SGR. Delete the original. Rename the copy just to get rid of copy out of the title. And then that should be you good to go.
And yeah, that is basically how I got the game running, and it looks great. It looks exactly how I remembered it as a child. And there has been, there's a little bit of lag here and there, but for the most part, it runs very smoothly. And keep in mind, I am playing on Windows 10. I'm playing on an older console, so, it's doing good for an older game on a newer piece of technology. Now, we get into the critiques of the game, my gripes, and also the pros of The Sims 2. Now, we're going to start with similarities between The Sims 2 and The Sims 4. Now, I think one of the big things that people tend to forget when it comes to The Sims 2 in terms of how people travel about is that they're kind of exactly the same between The Sims 2 and The Sims 4. You can't just wander over to your neighbor's house to say hi, or the park, or anything outside of your property. It's very locked in, almost in the same way as The Sims 4 was. However, I do think that The Sims 4 actually takes that and improves upon it. With The Sims 2, you're confined to your own lot, your own home base, or a particular lot that you're visiting. Whereas with The Sims 4, you have a little bit more legroom. You can wander around the area that you're in, interact with people walking about. So I'd say with that, that is an improvement, but it's also very, very similar. Another thing that's also similar is the aesthetic of the game. The Sims 4 is like if you took The Sims 2 but made it prettier. They both have the same cartoony aesthetic, and it's something I hope carries over into the newer games. And of course, the last similarity that I will mention is, of course, the reoccurring Sims that you see in the universe. Calientes, Don Lothario, Goths, the Land Grabs, all of them, they're reoccurring. They come back in The Sims 4 in different ways and in surprising ways with some of them. Now, onto my gripes. Now, the biggest one is controls. We did not appreciate, I don't think we really truly appreciate how much better the controls have gotten in the Sims franchise compared to how they were in The Sims 2, because holy shit, it got aggravating. It's the little things that you don't realize that you can't do that make you appreciate it more in The Sims 4. Like even just the simplest task is like stepping over a cat that may or may not be in the doorway to get to the bathroom, or being able to click and drag the dishes into the sink, you know, just to save some time and hassle and like get your Sims just feeling in a better mood. You can't do any of that in The Sims 2, and it's nice. I like that about The Sims 4. And believe it or not, when you're playing a game that's over a decade old, you are definitely going to have some gripes with the gameplay. There was one time that my Sim was trying to, you know, cut the hedges on her rose bush, and she couldn't get around to the other side for some ungodly reason, because there was a dish. That's right, there was a dish in the pathway. Whereas in The Sims 4, you know, dishes, that's easy. You just step over them. No biggie. Whereas in The Sims 2, you can't really do that. It's those little things that I think tend to go underappreciated nowadays. And as much as I hate to admit it, I think a lot of the love that The Sims tends to get, well, The Sims 2 in particular tends to get, is because of nostalgia. I mean, I look back at that game with so many good memories, and I definitely have, like, you know, rose-tinted glasses whenever I look at the game or think about the game, because I had such a good experience with it that I think, okay, yeah, we should totally go back and play it. But, you know, every game comes with its gripes. And The Sims 2 isn't, you know, shy from that. However, with my critiques, it's a fantastic game. It's so lively, filled with stories, amazing personalities with the Sims and their families, and just good content. It's really good content in general. And I think the packs that we've gotten with The Sims 4 kind of lack the personality that The Sims 2's packs have gotten. Now I had to bring out my phone because it's got all my notes on it, but an issue I have with The Sims 4 compared to The Sims 2 is definitely the lack of personality is the biggest thing. Now, they've recently done a big rebrand with The Sims 4, as you can tell, with like the different, you know, how they've changed how the covers look with game packs, expansion packs, stuff packs, all that jazz. But another thing that I think tends to go kind of unnoticed is how what's on the pack, like the cover itself and even the trailers, is the illusion of personality, I would say. It's something I've noticed that they've been doing with trailers since, let's say, Get Famous came out. Despite focusing on really selling how you can become a celebrity or become a mermaid or a spellcaster, which is The Sims 4's version of witches and wizards, despite really selling what makes those really unique, and also the fact that you can go to university now and live that sweet student life, TM. The actual experiences that you get in The Sims 4 kind of feel very vanilla compared to what's advertised. And I felt torn on the matter because there's a lot of things that The Sims 4 has brought into the franchise that I genuinely like. But I think in terms of personality, The Sims 2 does it better. The University expansion, for example, has so much more personality compared to The Sims 4's Discover University. Like, if you put the two up against each other, The Sims 2 kind of outweighs The Sims 4, even if The Sims 4 brings in new content and new features. I don't know, it's one of those things that I'm very, very torn on, in full honesty. In retrospect, I think a lot of us tend to look back at The Sims 2 with, you know, big goo eyes over all the things that we got to do in the game. However, you know, it did come with its faults. And I think that The Sims 4 definitely improves on what those faults were. That being said, a lot of things that we've gotten in The Sims 4 become like very bleh in comparison to what we got in The Sims 2. I genuinely think if they're going to do like another iteration of a Sims game, just take The Sims 4's aesthetics, character creation, and just mishmash it with what we got in terms of gameplay with The Sims 2. I think if you just mush them together, it would be a perfect Sims game. Oh, another thing that goes completely unappreciated with The Sims 4. The character creator. It's so good compared to The Sims 2. The Sims 2 is very basic. I mean, it has a lot of iconic outfits and whatnot, but in terms of what we can do in the character creator compared to what we can do in The Sims 4, it's just, it pales in comparison. You can do so many different body types, different facial structures, and you can really make your Sims feel unique and the way that you want them to compared to, you know, The Sims 2 where you feel like you can only stick to like 2 or 3 face presets that are safe and that you like. Just another quick thing right there. The character creator in Sims 2, even if it doesn't have a fucking color wheel, appreciate it. It's actually pretty solid.
Now, even with some of my gripes for the Sims 2's character creator, the character creator itself is not too terrible. While I do stick by my opinion that The Sims 4's character creator is probably the more superior version of The Sims 2's character creator, the outfits really slap. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of iconic fucking outfits in The Sims 2. Not only that, but I really miss the star signs. I miss the star signs so much. I think it was a really cool addition to The Sims 2. Being able to like really tweak how shy or outgoing or grumpy or nice your sim was based on their star sign was really, really neat. And they always came with their cute little animations for each star sign that you would pick, which just gave it more personality than it already had, which is a huge bonus point for The Sims 2. And not only that, but turn-ons and turn-offs. Why don't we have it? That was super, super, super good. Also, even though there is no correlating gameplay right now, wants and fears. Much, much, much better than whims. Fight me on that.
But that's just my personal opinion. And those are overall my thoughts on replaying The Sims 2 12 years later. What are your thoughts on this video? Do you agree with me on some things, disagree with me on others? What do you feel is good about The Sims 4 compared to The Sims 2 and vice versa? I don't know. I love both games, honestly. I really do. And I just wanted to take a moment to reflect on them. And I hope you enjoyed watching this. And of course, a massive thank you to my current patrons of 2020. They are, of course, Nicholas Montoya, Cooladora, Kazgirl, and Zapfanouch. And if you want to see your name shouted out at the end of the video like these amazing people right here, do hop on over to my Patreon and check out all the cool rewards on offer. And thank you so, so much for all of the amazing support you guys give me on that platform. It has funded many different things on this channel and also has kept me fed. So thank you very much for all the support on Patreon. This is IceWire signing off, and I'll see you in next time on the channel. Have a lovely day /night when you are in the world, and I'll see you guys next time.